I remember that day so clearly. Who could ever forget? I was wearing my blue overall and I was happy to finally get home. As I walked closer to where my house was, I got this chill on my shoulder and my hair began to rise. It was gone. My house was gone. My valuables were scattered all over where the place I called home once stood, and my neighbors too were in shock as their homes were too demolished. An eviction notice was given to each of us saying that we had 48 hours to vacate the land we illegally occupied, and the little I had was either damaged or stolen. I agree that we occupied that land illegally for more than 3 years, and the number of shacks had grown from 4 in our first month to more than 50 in our third year of occupancy. We didn't want to live like this, but because of the social injustice within our society and because of the deep scars still left by apartheid, this became our new normal. We were homeless before we got here, and now it seems like that cycle has restarted again. Now, many of us worked hard to build up our characters and to instill within us and within our families a sense of pride. This was no way for anyone to live, and no one dreams of such a lifestyle. I was saving to someday buy a house. Oh no, my mattress, my money was in my mattress. Nearly 20,000 rand saved, and because of this eviction and demolition of my home, all that money I worked so hard for was gone. Many of us wanted to fight back, but we couldn't. We didn't have the energy any longer. Just then, I heard weeping from behind me. It was Nomfundo, my wife and my 2 children, Thomas and Zinhle. How was I able to look them in the eye? I am the father and the husband, and I feel so helpless, and I can't provide for my family. Why is God punishing us like this? Nomfundo wept. She wept bitterly as I held her. And that night we slept rough. We slept together as a community as we huddled around a fire that we made. And as Nomfundo and the kids lay in my arms, I looked up at the stars and I made a promise to myself not to give up for the sake of my family. It's easy for someone who may have been born into privilege to say something like that, but me, homeless with a family to take care of, I need to fulfill this promise and I need to stay strong. Very early the next morning, after a night of very little sleep, I got up. I needed to get to work. I kissed Nomfundo and the kids and I told them to meet me in the park after work. And as I walked to work to do the same mundane job, I thanked God I was able to work and have the opportunity to have a job. But in the same breath, I fought with him, asking why my family had to suffer like this. I was almost in tears, but I held them back. I needed to stay strong. When I got to work, I blended in as I usually did and did the same job, which paid very little, but got to put food on the table. 150 Rand is what I would earn a day, and being a Friday, I would get my week's wages, 750 Rand. That is what I'd get. No more and not a penny less. That had to see me through 7 days of food and necessities for a family of 4. That weekend, Nomfundo and I and the kids slept rough, first in the park, then under a bridge with other homeless people, and then near the local soccer stadium. I could see it was taking a toll on them, and I felt so helpless. A month went by, and we were still sleeping rough. No one at work knew, though, as Nomfundo and myself would take the kids to have a quick splash in the mornings in the restrooms at the local shopping complexes. But we couldn't live like this much longer. The winter months were creeping in, and the little I did earn didn't seem to be enough. I would always think back to that night when our shack was demolished, that night when I looked up at the stars and I made that promise to myself and to my family. I had such drive in my youth. I grew up on the outskirts of Nyanga, and I had it rough. I managed to do odd jobs during my schooling and saved enough money to study mechanical engineering. I did so well that I got a full scholarship and graduated top of my class. I searched for 3 years to find a job, but there was nothing. I married my high school sweetheart, Nomfundo, and we built a home for ourselves. Though it was an informal structure, it was a place we got to call home. In the time we lived there, we fell pregnant twice, and we are the parents to 2 beautiful children. I still go out looking for work in the field that I studied in, and I hope that one day I would be able to provide for Nomfundo and the kids. Now, at the moment, as they lay in my arms, as we try to sleep in this cold park, I appreciate them and appreciate the lives and the people they are. But I need to stay strong. I need to stay strong for Nomfundo and the